And we're back on the Bearcave MMA Podcast. I'm Josh. This is
Rich.
I hate you.
That was the worst intro.
I know,
This is
you're
Rich
just
Travers.
looking at me.
We have to give a special shout out to Nick Hayanichi, one
Always
of our
listening.
most loyal fans.
You sound like you're questioning that. Does he actually listen to us? Will he ever hear this? The world may never know.
We gotta sit down with him. Just listen to us.
So Nick listens to us in the office every time we have
We
a
don't
podcast.
have to go on about it. It's a shout out.
We're letting him know we appreciate him and listen to him.
Anyway, moving on to our Cub Education segment, or otherwise known as Q&A.
So, go ahead.
Go ahead.
What?
You interrupted me, bro.
I don't.
So, we had you guys email us questions, and now we're going to only answer 3 out of the hundreds.
It was a tough battle to decide which to answer, so we're going to start with Cool Kid 420 No Scope.
Nice username.
Cool. Jesus Christ. Cool Kid asked us, what's our favorite submission in Jiu-Jitsu? His is apparently triangles. So do you want to start with that? What's your favorite submission,
I don't.
Rich? Okay. I like guillotines.
Why?
I'm a guillotine-aholic because there's just something about choking somebody out while you can look at them. That's nice. It's like, oh, I'm killing you right now. But it's okay.
Mine would have to be Kimura's.
Not a gay submission.
I go for them all the time.
When was the last time you got it? Come on. This has to be a submission you actually get.
I was just being hurtful. This is just a Q&A segment. Alright, next one.
The next question is from Panda Lover 720. When is Ronda Rousey coming back? That's a great question. When is
She's
Ronda
doing
Rousey
some
coming
movies
back?
right now, but
Aren't there like 2 or 3 or something?
Yeah.
Ridiculous number.
we're aiming for
We're aiming.
me and Dana White and the boys at the UFC are aiming for UFC 205 in Madison Square Garden in November.
I feel like that'd be pretty solid. So I think that's definitely something she wants to
Because
get
that's
on.
the card McGregor wants to get on. And Wyman. And that'd be like the biggest card ever.
Super New York card. John Jones, where are you? Alright, and then our last question is from someone we actually know, from Danny.Pareto at adelphi.edu, and he wanted to know where we came up with the name for Bearcave MMA.
Well, I like bears. But you can't just write bear.
They have to live somewhere.
So Bear Cave, because you gotta train in a gym, and the gym is our cave.
That was truly an insightful session.
So Bear Cave MMA.
Bearcave MMA.
Because I feel like bears fuck shit up, right?
I mean, they do. There's grizzlies, there's browns, there's black, there's
But
polar
they also
bears.
not know how not to push themselves and rest. Which I also
They hibernate, which is also great. So that's this segment of Cub Education. I hope you feel educated.
They do.
Excellent.
Don't be so pessimistic.
That's not pessimistic. I'm really hoping they feel
All right.
educated.
So a lot of people died.
Oh my god.
Since our last podcast.
The most morbid of podcasts. Everybody's dead. It's over.
Kimbo Slice died. We'll start off with him because he's at MMA. Kimbo, I never thought he was technically great, but he just lived the American dream. Like, he just farted in his backyard, it went up on YouTube, and he ended up a lot of
UFC.
money with that. He didn't fight just UFC.
Bellator,
Bellator,
did
Elite
boxing.
XC, he fought in a lot.
And he had heavy hands.
You know, the sad thing is they had a memorial, like, watch his fights on UFC Fight Pass, and I was watching them, and they were horrible. They were horrible. Like, he had side control, so to get him out, he put his legs
into half guard, right?
and into half guard, and then from there, he put it into mount. Another guy was just as bad.
Guy was just like, oh, I guess I don't need half guard. That's not a very useful position.
Yeah, he was just technically unsound. He was a brawler, backyard brawl.
Yeah. Oh,
He was huge, though. He's 235 of just pure muscle. He didn't have cardio or skill, but he's pretty fucking strong.
He hit like a truck, so he
And
had
you know
that
what?
going
I
for him.
enjoyed him. I thought he was a pretty cool, funny guy.
It was
Watching him
entertaining.
on The Ultimate
Oh,
Fighter.
it was the
You
Roy
know.
Nelson fight, though. Boop, 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 boop.
He just
boop.
never had the skill. But, you know, he made the most out of it.
Fuck yeah, dude.
It's just kind of sad that he died. I think it was 43 he was.
Something like
And he had 2 kids, too.
that. Wasn't it?
kinda sad.
Why did he die? I thought it was like some kind of organ failure, but someone said they did not hear that at all, so I'm questioning it.
I don't think it was organ failure, Josh. I think it was something with his heart.
Which is an organ.
I guess.
Fuck off.
The most important one.
Oh, so the brain's not important. We can keep you alive for years without your brain. Technically speaking.
And then Muhammad Ali died.
Who,
One
for
of the
certain
greatest
people out there
time.
who are ignorant as fuck, is not a terrorist. I hate you.
That was his thing.
One of our very dear friends literally thought Muhammad Ali was a fucking terrorist.
Really?
You'd have to know who just by the comment.
Please tell me they were white.
Yes.
You know what I love is white people just get away with that. Just say that about other races. Right?
Fucking ridiculous.
Like, Muhammad Ali sounds like a terrorist.
I was just like, I think he was a terrorist. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You uneducated swine.
He definitely wasn't important to
America in any way, shape, or form. Did nothing.
But Muhammad Ali was the only guy to win the heavyweight title 3 times.
Jesus.
Yeah, he kept fighting until he was like 45. 7. He was crazy.
I will survive.
That's why he had Parkinson's, though. He didn't know when to just retire, you know? But it's like when
a
you're
lot.
that good, you know?
It's hard.
You can get away with some shit.
There's like the Dan Henderson quote. He's like, I can still knock people out, so why the fuck would I stop? I'm like, well, Dan, your brain's a valuable
You know, there's a
thing.
whole documentary on when Larry Holmes beat the shit out of Muhammad Ali in the ring. It was like Muhammad Ali was older, and he fought Larry Holmes when he was in prime, you know?
Ooh.
And Larry Holmes, like, beat the shit out of him, and people hated Larry Holmes for it. Because Muhammad Ali is, like, everyone's favorite, you know? So there's a whole documentary about all the shit he used to get from people. Like, they'd be like, why would you beat him up?
Why would you box with him?
Why would you beat up Muhammad Ali? And he was like, a fight's a fight.
I guess that's true, but I feel like that's got to be rough sometimes. Like, you're just mauling somebody. And, like, it's not like boxing is quick. It's a slow maul.
But I think Muhammad Ali will be known for himself outside of the ring as much as inside. He dodged the draft. They took away 4 years of his prime there.
Like,
4 years.
It was that important to him that he fucking stood up for it.
Can you imagine if Michael Jordan didn't play for 4 years in his prime when he was like 28? Like, and that he did it knowing that he was going to miss that time, that he just stood his ground, you know.
It was like,
it's pretty admirable for that. I mean, like,
great guy.
And then he's a big civil rights activist. But what people don't know is that he, like, was for segregation.
Was he really?
Yeah, he was totally over white people. He's like, yeah, black people should have their own thing, white people should have their own thing, and we should be separate.
Take our society and push it over.
There's footage of him at KKK rallies being like, bluebirds should be with bluebirds, and blackbirds should be with blackbirds, and saying shit like that. You're the big Malcolm X guy. That's why he started out as Cassius Clay, and then he turned over to Islam. And that's when he started getting into the Brotherhood of Islam and Malcolm X and all that shit. Who Malcolm X, that's kind of what he wanted with segregation, you know? So, you know, but then again, it was a different time, you know? Now everyone's like, Martin Luther's the man, you know? But back then,
we liked that guy.
People getting lynched and shit, you know?
We kind of wanted to be alone at that point.
Yeah. So, this goes into the questions of, I want to hear your top 5 greatest heavyweight boxers in memorial of Muhammad Ali.
Oh, okay, the dream. All right.
List them off, Josh.
I'm going to be cliche and say Muhammad Ali.
Oh, that was very nice.
I know, right? The memorial,
So
this is fantastic. I feel awkward about saying Larry Holmes next, because, well, we beat the shit out of him. But we're going to push through. Because Joe Louis, Jack Dempsey. You know I can't pronounce anything for the life of me. And then Rocky. Who doesn't love Rocky?
Wow, that's a pretty good list, man. It kind of looks a lot like mine.
Does it really?
Yes. Mine is Muhammad Ali, Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano, Joe Frazier, and Jack Dempsey.
All right, we got 2 different ones out of 5. That's, you know, 40%.
I put Jack Dempsey because he was the first real star in athletics. He was like Babe Ruth, one of the first people where they were kind of like a superstar and people really know the name. And, back then they fought all the time, so his record's like in the hundreds. Like, he had over 100 fights. And he killed it. Jack Dempsey,
and
he killed
slayed.
it. Then I have Rocky, because there's a lot of controversy where Rocky isn't the greatest, because he fought a lot of people out of the prime and older guys. Like, he fought Joe Louis when he was older. At the end of his career, he fought Joe Jersey Walcott when he was old, and he wasn't that technical, Rocky. He was more of a brawler. Take one to give one.
But he's got heart.
Yeah, he's got heart. He was a great white hope back then. That's what people would look up to him, because he was the only one guy getting it done, because that was the time of Jack Johnson, Joe Louis, where black boxers have been really killing the game. But anytime you have a perfect record, I feel like you have to be considered the greatest of all time, no matter the situation, because I was like
you never had an off day ever.
Or you got through your off day, How many people can say that? Then I have Muhammad Ali, because he won the heavyweight title 3 times. And that's very hard. And who he beat, He won the gold in the Olympics. Then he beats Sonny Liston, and then he just beat a lot of people, like George Foreman. No one thought he was going to win that. And that's where the rope and dope comes in. His fights with Joe Frazier, classics. He fought, and he just beat a lot of good guys. And he was just very fast, and he was smart, But the problem is, I think he figured out he could take a lot of punishment, like with the George Foreman fight, and that's where, you get Parkinson's. You just take a beating. After a while, it adds up,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, then we have Joe Louis. Joe Louis, the Brown Bomber. I put him there because Joe Louis went undefeated for something like 10 years, and he beat the German boxer Max Schmeling, or whatever his name is, in the second fight, to show that the Germans weren't superior. The problem with Max is that he gets a bad rap because he was in Germany during Nazi time, but he actually hid some Jews in his house. Like, a lot of people thought he was a super Nazi, but he was just living in Nazi Germany.
Like, it's how you survive.
And I think him and Joe Louis went 1-on-1. But Joe Louis was like the first real black star, that black people could aspire to be. And even Muhammad Ali said that he looked up to Joe Louis as a kid.
That's gotta be awesome. Like, Muhammad Ali looked up to you. Like, yeah, I'm doing it.
And then to end it, I put Joe Frazier. And I know,
isn't that
Joe Frazier is probably my heart favorite person. Like, he's a person I love with my heart. He might not get all the accolades that the other boxer does, but he was really good. He took a beating from George Foreman, but he was really good. And Ali, he beat Muhammad Ali in the first fight, lost the second, and the third fight, Sterling Manila, it was such a brutal fight that after the 14th round going into the 15th, his corner had to throw in the towel. But before they did, Muhammad Ali was telling his corner he was going to quit. So Joe Frazier lost, but if they had just held out and let him go into the 15th round, Muhammad Ali was going to not come off the stool. That's the story, at least.
Jesus.
And I was like, he would have won the trilogy, and that would have been a totally different thing.
Could you imagine being that fucking beaten that you're just like, nah, I'm not going out there next round? Like, fuck.
Well, it was so hot in the place. They say it was like 110, 120 degrees, and you're doing like 14 rounds where you're just beating each other.
Out of each other. Yeah, but still, just a thought. Just like, nah, like, fuck that, man. Like, it's over. It's over.
So that's my list of top 5.
What a list it was.
Except you, Josh.
I'm here to help.
Speaking of heavyweights, we have Brock Lesnar coming back at UFC 200.
I think John Jones' reaction was literally the best in the world.
What did he say?
He was like, red painting night or something like that. It just like, bumps up my purse. Like, I'm fine with that.
He's such a big draw, Brock Lesnar, from WWE, and just the fact that he's a athletic freak.
He's fucking massive and fucking fast. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
And people don't realize, but they think he's just a WWE wrestler, but he's got legit wrestling skills. He was an NCAA champion back in college. He has real wrestling skills, you know?
I've seen him chuck people. Shit.
And, you know, and obviously he's really athletic. And then he's
I don't know if I'm in love with the Mark Hunt fight, though. Because I feel like that's one of those things where it's like, if Mark Hunt catches him, it's going to go downhill real fucking quick. I feel like if it was another...
he's fighting a murderer in Mark Hunt. Mark Hunt. The king of walk-away knockouts.
It's just one of those, like, I would rather have seen him fought somebody else first, just because...
But I think the thing is that he's so strong. I think Brock Lesnar's
just going to muscle him.
going to be able to take him down. Just straight spear him to the ground. Work his ground and pound. Because Mark Hunt doesn't have a lot of ground skills.
No.
You
doesn't
know?
really have good takedown defense either, does he?
It's alright. But the thing is, like, you know, he's usually a pretty strong guy.
Mm.
And he has a low base considering the other guys are taller. But Lesnar, you know, guys, muscles on muscles with that guy, you know? He's just probably going to go for the ground and pound. And you know what's funny? Brock Lesnar was at UFC 100.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And now he's going to be at 200.
He called Dana, got some shit done. Put me in, coach.
He's a co-main event fight, though. We're still keeping John Jones and DC as the main event.
Better fucking be. Jesus.
I still wish McGregor was on the card. I feel like it just makes it that much better. To not have one of your two UFC stars, Ronda Rousey and McGregor, on it, it still seems devoid. Like, there still seems to be a void there. You know?
I feel no void.
You feel no
There
void?
is no void here.
I feel
John Jones is fighting. I have no void.
Did you see the talk? Chael Sonnen on his podcast, I believe, announced that Anderson Silva and Uriah Hall are being added to UFC 200.
It's interesting.
UFC 200 is so big. We have Misha Tate, Amanda Nunes, then you got Joe Lazon and Diego Sanchez. You got John Jones, DC.
I literally
There's
feel
so
like
many
they were
big
just
fights.
like...
I think Jim Miller, Takenawa, Gomi are fighting.
We were like one of those things like McGregor's like, nah, fuck this. And Dana White's like, well, I'm going to sack the shit out of it and make you look stupid. Like, you could have made a lot of money, friend, but hey, if you don't want to...
Alright. This is what I really wanted to talk about. Bisping beating Luke Rockhold by knockout in the first round. To me, that is one of the biggest upsets of all time. I gave Bisping no chance in that fight. I gave him no chance. And especially the guy who supposedly has no knockout power knocked Luke Rockhold the fuck out. I was like...
It was the uppercut that got him stumbling back into a hook, right?
Yeah, and then he just fucking slammed him down. And then just finished him. It was fucking brutal. And they still are going at each other.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Like, afterwards, Bisping was fucking drinking it.
Well, Bisping's such an asshole. You know, Dan Henderson is talking about fighting Bisping. I'm like, for the title. I'm like, no, get out of here. I want Wyman to fight, beat the shit out of Bisping, because Bisping keeps talking shit. And I'm like, yo, Long Island represent. I was like, Wyman will knock you into fucking next Saturday. I was like, oh.
Hey, man, we said that about Luke Rockhold. I feel like it's one of those things
no,
like...
Wyman will fucking knock Bisping out.
Rockhold beat Weidman, though. I don't think it would be impossible for Bisping to win.
No,
I'm not saying
I'm
not saying he's going to. I'm just saying, like, I feel like you now need to give Bisping the second glance. Like, maybe he could pull that off too.
Well, he's really turned his career around. People were talking about him as a gatekeeper for a while. People forget that, and then
me,
you, and then he takes out Anderson Silva, takes out Luke Rockhold. And now he's on top of the world.
And he wouldn't have even gotten that title shot if Weidman, if like anybody else was like healthy. It was just one of those things where it's just like, well, we have to give it to him, I guess. And then he's like,
You have to take advantage of the situation, you know.
Fuck yeah.
So where do you think it's one of the biggest upsets of all time?
I'd have to. No, I don't think anybody. I really don't think there was a person out there who would have looked you in the eye and been like, Bisping can do this. I really don't think there was. Not that I knew of. I'm sure. In England, you know,
to me, I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" You know, I was like, "Whoa!"
I was at work.
Weird acid trip.
I was at work when I like got out and I heard about it. I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "This big one?" I'm like, "This is clearly like trolling."
This is like when T.J. Dillashaw beat the shit out of Henan Barrow. This is Holly Holm beating Ronda Rousey, and it's Matt Serra knocking out motherfucking GSP. You know, because no one gave Serra a chance, but then he did it because Long Island always comes through.
The clutch.
But I think that goes in my biggest upsets of all time. I think it's even more surprising than Holly Holm beating Ronda Rousey because Holly Holm is a counter striker. It was just made to happen. You know?
The way that Ronda came at her and straight, very direct.
But
lines
never in my wildest dreams did I think Bisping was going to knock him out. I could have kind of seen winning a decision like with Anderson Silva, where he kind of wins the decision. I couldn't imagine a fucking knockout.
No.
Especially how the first fight went, with Luke Rockhold head kicking him and then one arm guillotining him in the second round.
Did you read they like transcribed what his coaches were saying, what his corner was saying throughout the fight? Did you read that?
No.
I like his coaches. They're pretty calm about everything. Good, solid.
Oh, Jason Perillo was Bisping?
Yeah. Good, solid.
Jason Perillo, he's a good coach.
Yeah.
He coached BJ Penn.
It was all like good, solid little tidbits. You know, keeping him like hype, not overdoing it, making sure he was tight with everything. I was like, that's the kind of
the biggest problem with that fight is Luke Rockhold. I don't think took it seriously enough. No. It's like the old story of the tortoise and the hare. You know, that the hare just fell asleep because Luke Rockhold. I really don't think he took it seriously. He was just kind of throwing it out there. He didn't really have any urgency to him, you know? And it's like Anderson Silva with Weidman the first fight, you know? You're playing games, you get caught, you know?
Like, wasn't his MCL torn or something, too?
Yeah.
It was like, I don't even need my knee. It was like, alright, well, you're an idiot. Like,
he just should have taken Bisping more seriously. And I think in the third fight, I still have Luke Rockhold massacring him. Like, just murdering him. I mean, because I think he's going to be so mad. He's going to be like, I'm not, nah. And he's just going to kick the shit out of him.
I think if Bisping, I actually could see him having a chance in the third fight because I feel like he's got to be so in Luke's head. Like, Luke has to feel like a chump right now. So I feel like that's one of those things where if he just comes out like just straight trying to hurt him and not paying attention, I could see Bisping sneaking something in there, getting something going. I mean, I don't know. I feel like Luke's pretty fucking salty. Like, what?
Yeah. Well, now who fights for the title? You have Jacare there. Bisping told Wyman and Luke Rockhold effectively to fuck off and fight each other if they want a shot at the title. And that really leaves it open. It's really Jacare. I don't think Dan Henderson has done enough. I think Dan Henderson should retire. Retire off a head kick to Hector Lombard. That's a great way to go out. Right. Head kicks this 44-year-old man. Head kicks Hector Lombard. You know.
But I guess that's also one of those things
Cuban
where like
mission.
But if you just kick somebody in the head and fuck them up, you're not looking to retire. You're like, hey, I still got it. Like, not only do you have to worry about the H-bomb, I'll fucking kick you in the head, homie. There's got to be like a little hype on that one.
You know what I want to talk about? Stipe winning the title. Brought a title to Cleveland. I'll never let that go. Baffled. I fucking love Stipe.
So baffled. God, I'm so
knocked
good.
out Fabricio Verdun. You know what's pissing me off? Is listening to Joe Rogan's and Brendan Schaub on the Joe Rogan Experience. Mm-hmm. And he was like, yeah, Verdun and Kane could both be considered one of the greatest of all time for heavyweight over Fedor. And I was like,
why?
I don't agree with that. You know, I was like, Kane hasn't held on to his title. Verdun, he defended it once? No, he just won it from Kane.
Yeah, I don't know what, like, I'm not
I was like, Fedor defended, I mean, like, the skill level was less when he was in Pride, but those were all the best guys. Mikko Krokop, Nogueira, and he held the title for, he went undefeated for 10 years, Fedor.
He tore through motherfuckers.
I was watching Fedor fights this past weekend. He's good.
Yeah,
that kid's good.
He was really good.
But you can see it's definitely rougher, the MMA back then. Like, it's not as clean, it's not as tight, but he was very diverse, Fedor, you know? He could armbar you, and he could knock you out, he could head toss you.
He was one of those guys who, like, literally just threw his legs up, and it was just suddenly like, I can't be armbarred. Oh, fuck, okay, alright. Gotta defend this.
I think Stipe can be one of the greatest of all time. I believe in him.
The way he beat fucking Verdun.
I think the most a heavyweight in the UFC has defended the title only twice. So if he defends it more than twice,
but he has to be considered.
You know, Stipe, he brought the first title in Cleveland in over like 60 years. Sorry, LeBron James, but you're not winning this finals with Steph Curry.
Holy shit!
He brought it to Cleveland.
Wait 1 second. All right.
So what I want to ask you, Josh, With Brock Lesnar coming back, do you think he can come back and win the title again? Like, or do you think this is just for the pay-per-view numbers?
I think this was just kind of one of those things where it was like, it would be really crazy. Brock Lesnar just shows the fuck up, fights, makes some fucking ridiculous money, and then does Brock Lesnar things.
Because he had that disease, right? That was really wasn't letting him train a lot the first time he was in the UFC, and he said his biggest enemy was it was something with his organs where, it made him weaker,
Yeah.
I forget the whole medical thing with it.
I want to say liver. I don't remember why I'm thinking liver.
He was, he's dealing with it his whole career when he was in the UFC. The couple years he was in there. So, I think him coming back healthy with some time off could actually be a good thing. On the other side, though, he's been away from the game for few years, when he was in the game, he was fighting Frank Mir for the title. Frank Mir's not near the title now.
No.
The game's progressed since then, so I don't know if he can keep up. Which brings me to Ariel Helwani being banned from the UFC for good.
Didn't
he got his media credentials taken away from him because he broke open the Brock Lesnar story. That's why he got kicked out.
What a jackass!
Because the UFC, I guess, wanted to do it themselves, and he put it out there, and he was banned for life.
They were just like, hey, we don't fuck around.
Which I think is kind of fucked up because he's a journalist. And I don't think it's not illegal. It's not anything wrong. That's his job to find out when the next fights are and to report on them. And it's just like another sketchy thing with the UFC that makes me not like them. Makes them think they're a monopoly, like this Reebok deal, and they just corner the market.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do about it.
And it's like they're the only real big MMA thing out there. There's one championship out in Asia, and then there's Bellator, which isn't very high talented.
I mean, they're working on it though. Benson got the shit.
But I was reading an article, and they're saying it's not even Dana White that doesn't really like Ariel. It's Lorenzo Fertitta,
really?
The owner of the UFC. Yeah, he's the one who got Ariel kicked off Fox at first because he was working for Fox as like a journalist. That was like one of his things, and he got kicked off for that. And then he's at UFC 199 watching Luke Rockhold Bisping fight. Well, it was about to come up, so he's covering the whole event. And the Bisping Luke Rockhold event is supposed to come up, and these UFC, staff come up to him. And they're like, "You need to come to the back," and he's like, I don't want to come to the back," So they leave, and then the guy who was higher ranking came, and he's like, "You have to come to the back." So Ariel is like afraid something was going to happen. So he's like, "Well, I'm bringing my boy with me." So he brought one of his, co-workers, I guess another journalist, and he went back there, and Dana White was like, "You're never allowed back here again." Took his media credentials, and he's like, "Go cover Bellator or something."
Ouch.
But he can come back as a fan. I mean, he can buy a ticket, Ariel.
No, isn't that what Dana White
He doesn't have media access anymore, so he can't go backstage, and he can't go to the press conferences and stuff, which is a lot of journal. I mean, he can still cover the fights. He can still be there.
But it's not the same. Like, you don't have the slightly insider access that other people have.
I really think a lot of people should be more vocal about this that are big in the UFC, because it's like you can't just ban someone for doing their job. He's just covered the Brock Lesnar story. He found out Brock Lesnar's coming back, and he reported on it because he's a fucking reporter on MMA.
But it also might have been one of those things. Maybe they were like, "Hey, you'll learn about this, but you can't say anything about it." And they did anyways. And it's just like, well, now we can't trust you, right?
I guess they wanted to do it on their own time, so it'd be like a big surprise.
Like at the right time to make the pay-per-views skyrocket.
So did you find out what was bothering Brock Lesnar? It was his liver?
Oh God, I'm gonna.
What's your?
Oh my! You're knocking down all the.
I know. Diverticulitis. Some kind of inflammation.
Inflammation of the liver?
Nah, liver is an entirely different word. Disease of the digestive tract, normally in the large intestine. On the colon, tiny pouches form.
So you can't digest food well?
symptoms would be like fever, lower left abdominal pain, diarrhea, and nausea. So yeah, that sounds like it just fuck with everything pertaining to his stomach kind of thing. And also like if your stomach, your intestines, everything is bothering you, you get body kicked, you get body shot, you fucking hurt.
Sure.
Like, even probably like a good double leg, you know, stick your fucking shoulder in there.
With
Probably
Brock
bother
Lesnar
something.
coming back, Bisping winning the title, Dominic Cruz defending his title from Uriah Faber. It seems like the old generation is getting it done. Like the new generation is not. Like let's see who has titles. We have Robbie Lawler who has the welterweight title. When he started his career, like freaking 10 years ago, when he was like 18, he comes back and wins the title. Bisping has a career resurgence. Wins the title. Dominic Cruz comes back from a 4-year injury.
It just does work.
And wins the title. Brock Lesnar's coming back. Let's see. John Jones is still fighting. You know, it seems like the old people are getting it done. Well, John Jones isn't old. I shouldn't say that. But
I mean, DC is fighting him. DC's an older fella.
yeah, I think he's 37. We have Bisping 38. Dominic Cruz is in his 30s.
Is he really?
Yeah. Yeah, Dominic Cruz lost the prime of his career. Those 4 years was like his late 20s, which they say athletes hit their peak athletic point, you know? So, just seems like the old generation refuses to leave.
Like, no. You're gonna stay, motherfucker.
Are you yawning?
Yes. I
You
love
fucking
sleep.
schmuck.
I love
You
sleep.
fucking schmuck.
I love sleep.
This is our fucking podcast.
I love sleep. I haven't had caffeine. I was supposed to have coffee and I forgot. We got egg sandwiches. You can't pin this on me, Batman.
See, you're addicted to coffee, man.
I'm addicted to caffeine. I drink Monster too. There's a difference.
You don't think that's bad?
You're addicted to stupid shit too.
It's a food, man.
Taco Bell.
Caffeine will blow out your adrenaline gland.
Oh, dude, my adrenals are probably already shot from when I just drink Monsters to stay up all night. Video games, man. What could go wrong?
Speaking of that, World of Warcraft came out. Huh?
I
Wasn't that
don't
a
like
great
you as a
movie?
person. It
man.
was meh. It was alright.
Alright.
There's enough stuff thrown to fans in there, but it was, I don't know. Like I think someone compared it to Star Wars. Like, it set everything up. So it was one of those where it was like you don't really have to watch the next movie. Will probably be cool. I thought this one
But this
wasn't
one
cool,
wasn't.
but it was alright.
That's
A little
why I
corny.
like the Batman trilogy, the Dark Knight trilogy, because they were all good. The first one wasn't just a setup movie. Greatest trilogy of all time was Star Wars and Indiana Jones, and the Dark Knight trilogy.
Star Wars is 5 movies, right?
No, but the original 3.
Okay. I was like, I'm like,
That's a trilogy,
sir.
bro.
Sir.
Yeah, this kid doesn't even know Star Wars.
I just like stormtroopers, man. Stormtroopers.
Storm. They don't use jujitsu though. No one does.
These fucking lightsabers.
Don't they know? You
Jujitsu.
think they'd be in the future so they'd have higher level jujitsu, but they don't.
Jiu-jitsu with lightsabers, you know? Instead of a rear naked choke, it's just a head cut.
So, Eddie Alvarez is fighting Rafael Dos Anjos on, not at UFC 200, but during fight week, which is that whole week. So I think they're fighting Friday night, and then UFC 200 is Saturday night. I think that's how it's playing out. Do you think Eddie Alvarez can pull it off? Because I was having this discussion with Danny, and he thinks that he's wrestling too much now. That his style is too much wrestling. He was saying Dos Anjos is going to beat him up.
I feel like Dos Anjos has just looked pretty good lately, so it's one of those things where it's like, I'd be a little surprised, but, you know, I guess he pulled out of the last fight, right?
I think it's going to be a brawl, because I don't think Eddie has more skill than Dos Anjos, but I think he's a tough fucking guy. You know, and it's going to be a tough fight either way. I'd like Eddie to win. I don't like Dos Anjos.
No, I'm not really a fan, but he's been doing pretty well, so they're kind of tearing up people. Monster. Fuck off. Fuck off.
You tired, bro?
You're not entertaining, okay?
You gotta take a shit.
I had to piss. I drank a whole pitcher of iced tea. You can't fault me for being human.
Yes, I can, and I will.
This is why we can't have nice fucking things.
It is why. No, it's exactly why. Because you and your fucking iced tea and your monsters.
I haven't had a monster.
Well, that's the problem.
Exactly. I'm not me when I'm not caffeinated.
You know what I hate? Is every time I change a subject, I say so. I gotta change it up. Our listeners are probably catching
One
on
of my bosses was talking
it.
about that. Instead of like, she'd always say, so pretty much, or what I'm saying is.
So what I'm saying is...
Topic change. I can just read you. So
McGregor and Diaz finally have a date for their fight, and I'm so excited.
Because they didn't have one before.
They didn't. UFC 202 now. 202.
Wasn't it supposed to be 200 and then Conor didn't do the media obligations? Wasn't there a date?
Yeah, so they didn't have a fight after that.
But there was a date set at one point, wasn't there? That's all I'm saying. Just the way you made it sound was like they never...
Well, Diaz said he wasn't going to fight then after 200.
Oh, no, Diaz wants money.
McGregor was going to fight at some... either 2-1 or 2-2. We just didn't know if it was going to be Diaz or somebody else, or 2-3. But 2-2 is good, because then he can still get on the 205 card in Madison Square Garden. But this is a do-or-die fight, I think, for his career against Diaz, because he can't lose to Diaz again with his career, because his career is about being the best. And you can make a mistake when you're the best, but you can't do it twice.
There have been, like, a couple headlines, like, the day I thought this, like, 3 popped up or whatever, but overall, like, he's kind of dropped off the radar. And I can't say McGregor.
I don't think so. He's still in the headlines. You know who dropped off the radar? Ronda Rousey. Literally no one talks about her. Conor's still in the headlines. He just got landed on Forbes' 100
that was like
richest athletes.
One of the 3 that popped up. Like, I'm not saying he's entirely off, but like everything, like there'd be like 10 things posted. 8 of them would be about McGregor and his nuts. That's what it used to be. But now it's like 1 out of every 10.
And I'm okay with that. March.
I'm okay.
But they're still writing about him. He's still relevant. He made $20 million last year. And I was like, now, imagine if he beats Diaz, fights at Madison Square Garden.
What if he loses again, gets outboxed?
Not gonna happen. I can't imagine
that. Yeah, Bisping wasn't gonna happen either. Couldn't imagine Bisping winning.
Yeah, well, McGregor.
He's a
the
different
last
animal.
one kind of holding up the Irish flag still, because Cassell Pendred retired. Paddy Houlihan has some kind of disease, blood sting, that he can't compete anymore.
That's fucking rough.
So all the guys that came in with...
Is the only one left standing?
Yeah, I mean, Gunnar Nelson is an honorary Irishman. Speaking of welterweight, we have Tyron Woodley fighting Robbie Lawler. And it looks like that's happening at 202. UFC 202.
What is your take on that fight?
I think Robbie's going to kill him.
I guess this is the point where they had to give it to Tyrone.
He's really explosive, Tyrone, and he's very strong, but his stand-up isn't there yet. He likes to explode in and out, but if you get someone who's pretty good, he'll get pretty shy, and it becomes a pretty boring fight. Like, he doesn't like going in, you know?
And Robbie's the kind of
guy...
Like,
if he can overpower them and, like, overwhelm them with coming in, Tyrone, then he does really good. But then you have fights with, like, Calvin Gastelum is one that comes to mind, or Rory McDonald, where they don't get afraid.
They just hold their ground.
They hold their ground, and he doesn't really know what to do, you know? So, and that's exactly what Robbie Lawler does, is hold his ground.
That's like 3 out of the 4 rounds of what Robbie does.
Is just, and he'll come at you like a man. And I think Robbie's takedown defense is really good, so I don't think Tyrone is going to be able to take him down. Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of this fight. I thought Damian Maia or Stephen Wonderboy Thompson was more deserving. Mm-hmm. You know, I guess you had to give it to the Tyrone, but he's been sitting on the shelf, you know.
Yeah, he hasn't.
He won a couple fights, and then he just sat on the shelf, like the title, like he deserves it, you know. And I was like, you can't just sit on the shelf, you know.
Doesn't work like that.
And Wonderboy Thompson knocked out fucking Johnny Hendricks in the first round, the former champ.
That's the fight I want to see.
If that's not a message saying that he's ready for a title shot, I don't know what it is. And now he's fighting Rory McDonald, and that's going to be an interesting fight. I think if Rory loses, he's just going to go to Bellator.
Yeah, make some money.
I think that's what he's going to do. I like both fighters. That's what makes this hard for me. And either one could win. And if either one loses, they go all the way down. But I think Damian Maia should get a title shot. He just tore apart Matt Brown in Brazil.
Dismantled.
He just took him down. He wasn't even hiding he was going to take him down.
No, some of them are like super sloppy.
See, this is why I think he's better at welterweight than middleweight. Because he was too weak at middleweight compared to the other guys.
But at welterweight, he's...
welterweight, though, he can show that he's going to take him down, and then he can use his ground game. Middleweight, he had a harder time taking them down, Where he got, embarrassed with Anderson Silva. And Weidman on 2 weeks' notice beat him,
Well, that's always awkward. Literally 2 weeks. Hey, come in and fight this guy. Yeah, sure, whatever, man. Totally, definitely. I just can't see Maia beating Robbie, though. To me, that just seems weird. I don't know.
I'm surprised Robbie's on this huge win streak. It just seems to be the welterweight tradition. You had Matt Hughes, who defended his belt a million times. Then you have George St. Pierre, who defended his belt a million times. Now, Robbie's defended it twice, going on his third time, which I think he will. And that's rare,
It's one of those things where, I don't know, that I kind of feel like my boy Carlos
won the fight.
Should be there. Feel bad for him, man. Feels bad. Dude's just fucking savage.
They're talking about him and Nick Diaz fighting again, maybe after Nick Diaz decides to come back.
I'd watch it.
I don't know. I wouldn't be that interested. The first fight was pretty boring because Carlos didn't want to really commit with Nick Diaz at all. I mean, he won the fight, so I guess it's a good fight plan, but, And then, TJ Dillashaw is on UFC 200. He's fighting Rafael Asucano. So he's in the top 5 of bantamweights. Yeah. He's just he's been hurt, so he's been on the shelf for a while. People forget, but that guy's nasty. They already fought, and he beat TJ Dillashaw.
Did he really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes,
I want
he
to
did.
see TJ versus Dominic Cruz again.
I do too, because it's questionable that he lost the first fight. Bantamweight division is interesting again. Now that they have Aljamain Sterling losing to Brian Caraway, which he should have won that fight. Oh, I hate Brian Caraway. And then who else fought? Cody Garbrandt knocked Thomas Almeida out. That was a great fight because it was two young stars who both have a huge career, huge career ahead of them. Fight early. And I thought it was gonna be I thought it was gonna go a couple rounds. I knew someone was getting knocked out because they're both knockout artists, but I didn't think Cody Garbrandt would just demolish him so quickly. And now him and Dominic Cruz are talking back and forth. I'd love that, Cody versus Dominic Cruz. I love the Team Alpha Male Dominic Cruz rivalry. Yeah, the beef. Oh, I fucking love it. I can watch that shit all day.
I really like Cody. I don't remember what made me start paying attention to him, but I was just kind of oh wow, this guy's kind of beating the shit out of this man.
I love Team Alpha Male. They're such a good team. Paige Van Zant made it to the finals of Dancing with the Stars. She was the favorite to win, and then it was an upset, and she lost in the finals.
Yeah, she was doing really well. Kind of her down.
I was looking forward to it. And then I want Chad Mendes to come back.
Oh, didn't he just get in trouble for something?
No, you're wrong.
No, he did. He did.
For what?
He violated something. I'm going to pull it up.
Chad Mendes?
Yeah.
I don't think you're right.
I think I am this time.
BJ Penn fight got canceled, which I'm really sad about. Because he used an IV for water.
But that was
I didn't tell them or something. It was something dumb. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do this on Facebook.
Oh yeah, you didn't find anything.
Flagged for potential anti-doping violation by USAD 2 days ago.
When was that?
2 days ago. You want
Click it.
You want to stroke my dick or nah? Chad Mendes has been notified of potential anti-doping violation.
Potential.
Fuck off.
Potential.
I'm right. It's allowed to
You can't just
happen.
say you did it. It's a potential.
Well, since I started off asking you, he has yet to make a statement. He's temporarily
suspended. It's like
suspended.
when Frank Mir got popped, and I was so sad. I love Frank Mir.
And he's like, fucking kangaroos, man. Fucking kangaroos did this to me.
Oh, you know what's big that we haven't talked about? Anthony Pettis is moving down to featherweight.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I was like, oh my god, everyone's coming down. You know featherweight's crazy right now? That we have Henan Barao. There we go. In featherweight. He just lost to... Oh my gosh, would you stop knocking down the phone? You know, I saved them. You knocked them down. And I stopped them from falling just like 20 minutes ago.
So Henan Barao.
He just lost to Jeremy Stevens. But he didn't look that bad. It was just Jeremy Stevens just rained it down on him with hard shots. Jeremy Stevens is like one of those guys, he's either really on or he's really off because he's a madman, you know? Either demolishes you or he doesn't.
Either you make him look really stupid or he looks excellent.
You have Henan Barao, you have Jose Aldo, you have Frankie Edgar, you have Ricardo Lamas, and now you have Anthony Pettis coming down. I was like, we're infusing a lot of talent here. They're saying, I want to see Anthony Pettis fight Max Holloway. I think that would be pretty dope.
Pretty good fight.
Because Max Holloway just beat Ricardo Lamas at the last UFC. So that'd be a great fight in my opinion. But I don't know if he's earned that because he's on a 3-fight losing streak.
Well, I was like, I guess he's coming down. Hopefully he manages to pull something off because Pettis should be a good fighter. I'm not sure, he just took this random turn for the worst.
I think he's just in a funk, Well, now he's training at Greg Jackson's a lot more, which supposedly Duke Rufus, his main head coach, isn't that happy about. He wants to keep it all in-house, but Anthony Pettis is kind of like, well, when you lose like this, you need to change.
Yeah, something has to go differently.
But BJ Penn's training at featherweight down at Greg Jackson's. Work together. I just want to see BJ Penn come back because I love BJ Penn. I want to watch.
You want some knocks, bruh?
BJ Penn is one of the most likable people ever.
Fucking crazy.
Like when he was on the Ultimate Fighter against James Pulver when he was a coach, and he's like, everybody who wants to be on my team, raise their hand. And literally like 13 out of the 16 people there raised their hand. Where Dana was like, we can't fucking do this, BJ.
Stop being a jackass. Can I just take them all? No.
Or maybe Anthony Pettis versus Ricardo Lamas, because he just lost against Holloway, but he's still like a top 10 guy.
Yeah.
Have him fight Anthony Pettis.
Get his feet wet.
Plus, I wouldn't be mad if Anthony Pettis wrecked face Ricardo Lamas. I wouldn't even be mad. I don't like Lamas at all.
Fuck that guy. Not have anything against him.
You don't have anything against him?
No.
You don't remember that Conor McGregor parody video where you said Conor McGregor had a small dick? I'm still upset about that.
I'm in love with that. Oh my god, yes!
Yeah, when he's like, it's just a little schmeckle.
I got my tweezers.
If anyone is interested in funny MMA-related things, look it up. The Ricardo Lamas parody of Conor McGregor on YouTube. Pretty good.
Flexing his shit in the mirror. Fucking excellent. God damn it.
But
truly next level.
And then Serge. Okay, this is what I want.
Sergio.
I want Demetrius Johnson to fight Dominic Cruz.
Yes.
I'm so tired of Demetrius Johnson beating the shit out of
Demetrius Johnson has to lose eventually, right?
The flyweight division's so weak. He's fighting Wilson Reese, who's not even. I don't even know. He's not even in the top 10. Or he's barely. He's like. I think his record is like 4-2 in the UFC, which is hardly remarkable. And then they're talking about the winner of the next Ultimate Fighter fighting Demetrius Johnson. We're running out of people.
Demetrius Johnson has just literally become a meat grinder. Like, we're just gonna throw new faces at you.
I wanted to fight Dominic Cruz. Dominic Cruz has already beaten Demetrius Johnson before at 135. I want them to have another super fight.
And they're both very cerebral fighters. I feel like that would be excellent to watch.
What do you think is next for, speaking of super fights, John Jones, if he beats DC at UFC 200, what's next for him?
I wouldn't be surprised if he goes up to heavyweight, tries to take that belt.
I think he has to. I mean, like, how long are you going to hang out there? I mean, like, the only fight I can see after this is the Anthony Rumble Johnson fight.
He wants Gus again.
He wants Gus again, which I'd personally love to see. You know what I'd personally love to see?
Gus actually win a fight before he fights someone
You
we're
know, I
talking about.
rewatched the Daniel Cormier fight, and I really think he won the fight. At first, when I watched it the first time live, I didn't think he did, but I rewatched it, and I actually watched round 4, which I thought he lost, but I was looking at it, and he landed a lot of stuff on Daniel Cormier. It's just that Daniel Cormier kept clinching and some of the uppercuts.
Well,
but
Gus was eating those uppercuts like it was his fetish.
But he was landing a lot, Gustafsson. Daniel Cormier was kind of very not comfortable standing with him. I really think he won round 4, and I think because he won round 4 that he won the fight.
I feel like
because he won 2, 3, and 4 in my opinion, and Cormier wrecked him in 1, and I think the 5th Cormier won. But now looking back, I was like, because I watched the other day, because I haven't been able to watch it because it just makes me so sad. And I watched it the other day. I was like, Rich, just watch it.
Just watch it.
And I was like, I'm watching, and the problem with Gustafsson is that he turns his back to Cormier
and
runs to reset himself, which doesn't look good. But if you actually look at how much he's landing compared to how much Cormier's landing, he's actually landing a lot more. And Cormier's coming in and just eating a lot, you know? And it's like, he had some good takedowns. Like, watching it again, round 4 was the one that I thought Daniel Cormier won. And like that clinched the fight for him, but I went back, I watched it, I thought he won round 4. You know, I think his biggest mistake was not defending the uppercuts in the clinch, which I said before the fight. I was like, I told everyone, I don't think you were there, but I was with Danny, and I told him, I was like, for him to win this fight, I was like, it's not even the fucking takedowns, because I think Gus has good takedowns. He showed in the Jones fight he can do takedown. I was like, it's going to be the fucking clinch with Daniel Cormier, because he loves holding people against the fence and roughing him up. I was like, he's going to have to win the clinch. What the fuck does he do? He doesn't win the clinch. He had some good knees from the clinch.
Well, if he followed through with those knees, like afterwards, like he was just kind of like, all right, so that dazed him. I have a couple seconds to breathe. It's like, no. Now is your chance to strike.
Round 3, he could have finished him. He should have finished him. I'll never forgive him. But he's not active now. I want him to get back active. Like, he hasn't fought since October, and there's not even talks of an upcoming fight. He had a biography book that he came out with in Sweden. It reached number 2 on top books, I guess top sellers. It reached number 2. But he hasn't been active. I was like, let's get back in the game. Let's fight someone, you know? Let's, who's out there? You got, who's the one who just fought John Jones? OSP. Fight OSP. Do something.
I didn't hear
you know? I was like, do something to stay active. You know what I'm saying?
Win a fight before you fight somebody else.
I would love a John Jones-Gus rematch. I just want Gus to win the title once. That's all I want.
Look, I'm going to rewatch the DC
If he
Gus
wins
fight.
the title once and then retires or never fights again, that'd be okay with me. It's just, the John Jones fight was so close, and the fucking Cormier fight was really close, and then I looked at it again, and I was like, shit, he fucking won it. Because the first time I watched it, I was fucking drunk. So
I was like, that man's getting hit in the face. He's winning.
Yeah, I wasn't really looking at it technically.
I'll rewatch the DC Gus fight because I haven't seen it a second time. Yeah. I'll see what comes up with that. But I've seen the Jones Gus one a couple times, and the more I
think Gus won the John Jones fight. That one, I think he was winning, and then he shit the bed with the 5th round. He didn't shit the bed. I shouldn't say that. He fought like a warrior. They both did, you know. But the 5th round is like your last chance to impress the judges. You know, and John Jones was the defending champ, and you always have to do more than the champ. Yeah. You know, you can't.
You have to take it from them.
Like, if it goes to a tie, they're always going to lean towards the champ. You know? You saw that was a close Condon Robbie Lawler fight. You know, that was razor close. And they moved it, you know? That's why I'm so surprised Dominic Cruz beat TJ Dillashaw, because it was so close.
Yeah, I assumed TJ was just going to
And then they gave it to the... well, I guess Dominic Cruz was former champ, you know, but still. Gus has to fight again.
Also, I don't think anyone's really taken TJ to that level, so it was kind of like, oh, wow. Like, maybe he beat you and he took you that far, whereas TJ had been, like, you know
who's a bantamweight now? John Dodson.
Oh, that's right, he moved up.
And he knocked out TJ Dillashaw in the Ultimate Fighter finale.
Ooh.
And now he's in bantamweight.
He's coming
I'm like, yo, let's get it done. And John Dodson's a murderer. He'd be champ if it wasn't for fucking Demetrius Johnson.
DJ said TJ, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking DJ, dude. He's
just killing the game.
DJ's killing the game. It's one of those things where it's just like, holy shit. I'm like, something has to go wrong at some point, right? You can only be this dominant for so long, right? Right? I mean, jeez. Alright, so we're starting to run out of time now. So if anyone has any questions, if you ever want to ask us anything, whether it be personal about the podcast, whatever, email us at thebearcave631@gmail.com. Any questions you have at all, we're going to read all three a podcast.
It's free podcast?
Free podcast.
Alright, follow us on Instagram. We have Snapchat. We have Facebook. Like our Facebook page. We're on Twitter.
Like, share, follow.
Bearcave MMA. That's where you gotta look for us. Our Snapchat. Forget what exactly our username is, but you can find it on the Facebook page.
We got lots of random little tidbits. There's some nutrition stuff. There's some working out stuff.
And then in July, I'm going to San Diego doing Richie Martinez's, a.k.a. the Boogeyman's, EBI tournament. So, hopefully I'll have cool pictures to show everyone in July.
It's fucking better.
Yeah, going to San Diego, bitch. And then...
Hey, shit's lit, fam.
And then we're going to do a t-shirt raffle soon. So we'll let you know about that. That's probably going to be around July also. And then to end it, we're probably going to have a podcast, another one in a week or two. And we're going to have a special guest, a mystery guest, but a special one. Alright, signing off.
Alright, adios.